Hey, listener, welcome back. Consumer, however you're getting me right now. We just had an awesome conversation with our very first guest, Jack Parodi. Oh my God, it was good to talk to him. You may have seen him across the social webs. He's doing very well with Betr, Jake Paul's social media sports betting company. He's just blowing up everything sports social. He used to be on the game day. He hosted a very popular podcast called Caps Off. The guy's just crushing it. Super knowledgeable, very funny dude. I've also known him for a very long time. He used to babysit me when I was really little. Well, not crazy little, but before I became, this. Like when I was doorbell ditching people, I would run to his house for shelter from very angry 50-year-old dudes. I've always kind of owed him a few favors. That not that the show was a favor. Technically, I still owe him a few favors. The point is, he did great. Folks, please enjoy the newest episode of Now Here's a Guy. Folks, huge day here at Now Here's a Guy. Thank you for suffering through the Chris Collinsworth impression as always. We have an actual guest, not me, a human guest today with us. My man, Jack Parodi. You've seen him all across socials. He was at the game day. Now he's at Betr. More importantly, he's been my guy forever. He used to babysit me back before I even liked sports. The guy's he knows his shit. He's funny as hell, and he's a good man. Jack, welcome to the studio.
How we doing? How we doing? What's going on, brother?
Dude, it's so good to see you. You look great. I mean, you're golden. You
I
got the Miami sun cooking you, dude. You look
Hey
awesome.
man, I was on a golf trip this weekend. I was used to living in New York. Can't golf at all. I got nice. I'm brown right now, but then the
Yeah.
farmer's tan is gonna be terrible. But
Oh.
it's not a bad life out here.
And you got the caps off tattoo. I noticed. Yeah, is that what's going
Yeah,
on right
yeah.
up here?
Still got that bad boy right there. It's permanent, so we'll have that
Right.
when we show the grandkids. That'll be a fun one. This one here, if you can see it, is it's the Bush Light Mountains. So if you want to look that up for reference, that's a fun one too.
Right. It's boy, is that that's not an S tier beer for you, is it? Is that top of the list?
If you're talking shitty light beers, that's got to be 1-1. If we're doing like a draft of shitty light beers, it's easy 1-1 for me, no doubt.
No doubt. So you went to Mizzou. I guess that makes sense. Those stars do align. I'm a Coors guy
Yeah,
myself, so
I mean, hey, the thing if you're a Cali kid, Coors Light is that beer, right? Then you go to the
right,
Midwest, Bush Light or Natty Light. You go to the
right,
East Coast, there's a lot of Michelob, so it's kind of different wherever you go, depending on shitty beers.
for sure. It's all piss water. So
It's all
you,
good.
it's all good. It's all perfect.
Yeah.
You used to be at the game day. I did I see a quick snippet of Caps Off podcast resurgence? Is that what's happening, or was that just a
So
one
I
off?
can't say anything yet. Technically, we're still going through legal stuff, seeing if we can obtain it. I guess whatever. But my buddy Adam, that was on Caps Off with me. He's from Miami. Recently joined Betr last week. So we've been in the studio chopping it up a little bit lately, trying to get back to it. In case we do start something up again. We're gonna start something up regardless. The two of us, whether it's under the Caps Off brand or rebranded to something. But the boys are back. The boys are back. It's nice to have them here. So you'll definitely see like two familiar faces, probably too much on your social media pretty soon. like,
Oh, we are so back, boys. Fuck yeah. That's awesome. You
but
guys were so good. Your football content was so sharp, and it was honestly like refreshing because yes, it was knowledgeable, but there was also it was just the lunchtime banter. It
dude,
didn't get beat. It was so good.
that's exactly how we describe it to people too. With people like, oh, like what sets Caps off? Like the podcast I used to do. For people that are listening right now, it's like what sets Caps off apart from all the other football podcasts. Like every motherfucker is talking to their boys like, yo, like when they're like 7 beers deep watching football on Sunday, like, yo, we should start a podcast, bro. Like, it'd be sick. Like we're so fucking funny. But like there's so much the more goes into it, and what we describe like how it's different is that we're not trying to be like the experts, right? Like we're not experts. I played JV high school football at my peak, bro. Like I was a starter. Don't get me wrong, but I played junior
Right.
year JV football, so I was not good. And like all the rest of these guys, like we're not football players. We're not like fucking big experts. But we love football. We love talking about it. So it's like you got to talk about it the way that everyone else would in their group chat, or like you go to like the cafeteria in high school or whatever, and like how do you chop it up with your boys? Like with that, that's how the conversations go. Like it's instead of like, all right, let's break down how Tua Tagovailoa is playing this. No, it's like I think he played fucking awesome. He thinks he's like shit. So let's just talk about it like that, like, and kind of create, instead of trying to talk about conversation that everyone's talking about, let's like create a conversation that you see the video and you're like, yo, I'm gonna send this to my group chat because this is a fun debate. Like we should debate this amongst ourselves. Like that was kind of like the thought process behind it.
Dude, it literally felt like a group chat. I love that show so much because it felt like I was talking to my dogs about everything regarding football. And what a great place to start. So before we dive into March Madness and just the erotic mess that whole thing is, I do want to pick your brain about the recent signings. And
There's a lot. It's offseason's been a shit show.
yeah, and I don't need you to get your screen time login hours to be like Schefter's, but I do need to know, which signing will actually propel a team to a Super Bowl.
Dude, honestly, I feel like there's a lot of big names going around that won't make as much of an impact as people think. Like all the running backs, every single running back that signed, I don't think makes a huge difference to me. Like, I think Saquon with that Philly offensive line could be kind of sick, but like at the end of the day, does it move the needle for me? Because like not really, no, because I don't think Nick Sirianni is a great winning coach. Like I think Jalen Hurts was kind of carried by, their Shane Steichen a couple years ago, and we saw without him this year. Wasn't that awesome? So it's like, I don't know. Those don't really do much for me. I think the one that I really like is, I guess I just like the Texans right now. In general, what they've done this offseason has been insane. Like the fact that they went out and traded for Joe Mixon, you're basically replacing Devin Singletary with Joe Mixon, which is an insane upgrade. You have that guy's veteran leadership, bring him in. He's been to the Super Bowl, been there, done that, trying to help a young team get to the point he's been to, and maybe even further. But them doing that and then pairing Will Anderson with Danielle Hunter, I think that's how you pronounce it, Danielle, or it's spelled Danielle, but I think it's Danielle.
Yeah, I think it's Danielle. Danielle's my aunt.
Danielle Hunter, Danielle is not all. Like you pair Danielle Hunter with Will Anderson and you bring in other guys on defense, like D'Amico Ryans, the shit, and we know as Niner fans, like the shit that D'Amico Ryans could do with backups that were playing for us whenever we had him was insane. So imagine what he can do with Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson. You still got like Aziz Al-Shair. You got these dudes that he's got partly from the Niners, partly drafting otherwise, that I think we all know how good CJ Stroud is in that offense. Their defense is going to be fucking special next year. Like I think they make the jump from being this team that, like a lot of promise, but no one really thinks can go far in the playoffs. They can go to the AFC Championship next year. No doubt in my mind. Will they win it? Don't think so because there's a guy called Patrick Mahomes in the AFC. It's fucking tough. But I think the Texans now, in my mind, second best team in the AFC, which is probably, but.
That was a pretty big jump for you, Jack. That was a long jump.
I'll be honest. I was early on this shit, dude. At the beginning of last offseason, I said the Texans are cooking something up here in 2025. It's the season after this coming one, Super Bowl champions. Right. Just watch. Unless it's the 49ers, but yeah.
Of course. But
we'll get ours this year, so we're good. Yeah.
Yeah. If we don't get a ring this year, I'm going bald. It's a fact.
If we don't get a ring this year, I think I'm going to stop watching football in general. So.
Yeah. How long was your hibernation period after the Super Bowl?
It started immediately after. So I would say it was probably, I don't think I talked to anyone about football for probably a week and a half. I wish it was longer, but when I went back to the office after, there's nothing I can really do. When people are like, oh, hey, Jack, how was it going home for the Super Bowl? I'm like, what the fuck do you think? It was like, I flew across the country, 6.5 hour flight from Miami to San Francisco for nothing. Like just to get my heart broken again for the third time.
Yeah. I was there. I was in Vegas, so I hear you.
Oh, well, I hope you're at least at like Circa or something cool. Like
Mandalay.
I was just at my buddy's place in Orinda, California. Like Vegas at least you can distract yourself after the game with shit. I had to go home to my mom and dad asking me questions about the game.
Yeah, that's always a good presser. I did not win a lot of money. So the distractions were there, and they distracted me.
I think the only bet I won in the Super Bowl was the coin toss. I had the under on the coin toss. Yes. Then I really thought I had a sharp one, which was Taylor Swift to get shown during the halftime performance. Thought that was a lock. How do you not fucking show her? It's just singing along to Usher. Like the producers just really robbed me on that one. But,
it was just one. The line was just half, like one time.
Just during the halftime performance. That's it.
Oh, that
Didn't
was a
get one.
lock. I mean,
I
as a
would have thought.
lock.
I would have thought. Yeah.
Fuck
It's
that.
fucked.
Well,
I don't
too
want to
bad.
talk about it.
Yeah, I'll drain that swamp. So I guess so. You're high on Houston. That's not what
Very,
I
very.
was expecting. So higher than you are with Burrow and the Bengals, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think they're losing a lot of guys so far, like DJ Reader, Cheeto Awuzie, two
Yeah.
of their best players on defense. They lost. T Higgins and Tyler Boyd are gone, or T Higgins is still on the team, I guess. Secondly, but they're going to trade him. Tyler Boyd's probably going to leave. Like they're not going to be the same team. Joe Mixon's obviously gone. Like we'll see how much Joe Burrow can do because we've always said like Joe Burrow's been awesome, but he has all this help around him. No
Right.
offensive line, obviously. His offensive line's been shit, but like what happens when you take away a couple of those weapons too? I'm not sure. I feel like that, and what the Browns have done this offseason, the Ravens are obviously awesome. The Steelers, I think, are going to be really good next year. Like the AFC North is a fucking gauntlet. Like I wouldn't want to be the Bengals in their situation. Every other team is getting better, and they're just getting worse.
How many games are the Pittsburgh Steelers winning?
10 or 11. I think 10 or
Oh
11
shit.
games. I don't care if it's Justin Fields or Russ at quarterback. You see the stark difference between fucking Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph or one of those two. It's crazy. And they still made the playoffs last year. People forget that. They made the playoffs with that horrible quarterback play.
Were you ever on the Pickett train or no?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I liked Kenny
Yeah.
Pickett. I loved him in college. He was sick in college.
Right. The
Like,
fake slide. That's all time. That was
no,
that's
I'm be honest.
class.
That's about all that it took for me was just the
Really.
fake slide. I was like, I'm in
Yeah.
on this guy. It's sick. Yeah,
Yeah.
the two gloves, kind of fun. But dude, I feel like so I saw a stat which is crazy. Like Russell Wilson last year had 28 touchdown passes, and I think it was like the last 2 or 3 years combined for Steelers quarterbacks, they had 26. It was something crazy like that. So you
That
immediately
sounds
like
like
even Russ, who like we don't think is awesome, is such a big upgrade for that team. Like crazy.
yeah, that sounds like Pittsburgh football. Just Tomlin running it down your throat, winning like 13-10.
Yeah, with a couple turnovers on defense,
Yeah.
like TJ Watt gets a strip fumble, like something
Oh
like that.
my god, that Browns Steelers game on Monday night this year. I
That's the
think it was like,
worst.
oh my
That's,
god, awful,
that's the worst game of football I've watched.
awful. They two gifts, turnovers to touchdowns, two of them. That was like one of the worst like bad beats I've ever had in my life in terms of like just I wouldn't ever just throw big money on Cleveland Browns football, but I think they were like a 1.5 point favorite. I put multiple units
See,
down. It's just,
yeah, seems like a lock, and that's how Vegas always gets you. You can't if it seems too good to be true. It always is.
yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of losing money, we're about to lose a shit ton of money this week because it's the greatest week in all of sports postseason. I know you're a big baseball guy, and I know you love baseball playoffs, but I think March Madness, right? It's the best postseason. It has to be.
Nothing comes remotely close to that Thursday to Sunday that
Right.
weekend. The best
Right.
the best memories I have like watching sports comes in March Madness, and it's like when you're in like middle school or high school and you pull up your phone like under the desk, you're trying to watch it and everything
Oh
because you
yeah.
and your boy, all you have on it then is just your bracket. That's it.
Right.
So imagine you could bet when you were a kid, which would be horrible, but that would be awesome too. Like, oh my god, I would have probably never graduated high school.
I mean, speak for yourself. I'm sure many of my listeners, and myself included, had various like channels of revenue gambling. It's fine, but the
Well,
important,
yeah,
like a few dollars here and there, maybe $100, with the lunch lady,
yeah,
for some
no.
fun.
It's obviously if that were to be legal, that's what I would have done. But obviously, I
Of
would never do
course,
anything like that. Why would I ever do
obviously,
that?
yeah. God forbid.
Ah,
I mean, we're both of us are just class act.
upstanding citizens. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
100%.
So I'm going to ask you your final four, obviously, but I just want to know, does anything speak to you right off the bat in each region? Like just what just jumps off the page or the bracket at least and
Let me
says, Jack,
let me
pick me.
let me grab my phone real quick and pull up
Yeah.
the bracket. So I always do a bracket that is just gut feel. Don't fucking research it. And it always does way better. So let me pull that up, and I'll tell you. I have a few picks already that I think. But you want me to go region by region? What I think is kind of my favorite play.
So
My
this
favorite
is your
favorite
this is your
upset.
prison. It's a prison rules bracket as opposed to like a chalk bracket. Do you make multiple brackets?
I make like 20. Yeah.
Right.
But this
Yeah.
is the only one I have right now. Tomorrow I'm gonna go crazy on it. But
Okay.
I
Okay.
would say craziest thing that I got in the East region. The East
Right.
region, I have
Right.
Yale in the Sweet 16. Something about those smart boys that play basketball. I don't know what it is about the Ivy League. The
Whoa.
Ivy
Yeah.
League always cooks in March. And
Yeah.
as a Mizzou alum, we lost to Princeton last year. So I have to respect the Ivy League schools.
Right.
I love
Oh
that.
boy. You probably thought you
Yeah.
had a shoe in last year. You saw Arizona go down. You said Mizzou's going to beat Princeton. It's a lock. And
Yeah, I
ooh,
thought it was going to be awesome. Like, first time that they've gone to the Sweet 16 since I went to school there. But yeah, no.
yeah. Too
That's
bad.
just the most Mizzou shit in the world.
Good for you.
Let's go over to the South region. I will be deploying units on this, not a lot, but a little.
Yep.
So there is a trend that has happened the last three March Madnesses. All right,
Yes.
and
Yes. Yes.
I made a video about this today,
Yes. Yes.
and essentially, if a team has a reference to dicks, essentially the penis, dick, cock, what have you.
Sure.
They are a 15 or 16 seed the last 3 years. They will go on to upset a 1 or a 2 seed. That has happened the last 3 years. 2021, Oral Roberts. They beat Ohio State.
Oral sex. Yeah. Dick.
2022, the St. Peter's Peacocks.
Mm.
Cox.
Right.
They won,
Peacocks.
the magical run of St. Peter's. Love St. Peter's.
Love
And
them.
last year, it was Fairleigh Dickinson. They
Beat
went
Purdue.
on to beat Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, there is a 16 seed by the name of
Here we go.
Longwood. And Longwood is going to beat Houston. And you know why? It's not just the Dick references. Obviously, Longwood, awesome name. But every single team that I mentioned before, their color scheme has navy and then either white or gray. Longwood's colors are navy, white, and gray.
Wow. That's
Plus
some
3,000.
investigative journalism right there. Folks, did you hear that?
That's why-
So Longwood, lock.
That's why they pay me the super medium bucks. Not the big bucks, but the really gritty bucks. That's why they pay me that. Longwood.
That's so awesome.
Get the Lancers in your bracket. Sprinkle a little on them. It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Dude, that's so awesome. I saw that video and I was like, oh my God, he's so right. I mean,
I saw it on
Oral
Reddit.
Roberts.
I was like, I have to make a video on this because this is fucking crazy.
Well, you have to. But I mean, think about it. Like Oral Roberts came in, whacked Ohio State, and then just took March by storm.
I had Ohio State in my Final Four that year.
Yes. St. Peter's Peacocks beat Kentucky. Everyone's Final Four was shot that day. Thanks to Peter.
And then
Peacocks.
Purdue.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got to be better than that. I mean, Purdue, they weren't going to last.
No,
long anyways.
see, I never have Purdue going far. You can't be doing that. I work with a bunch of IU guys too, so they're very much on me about, hey, never take Purdue. They're the biggest chokers in all of March Madness, so I have to, never take them.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well.
The Midwest, I like McNeese a lot. McNeese
Really?
is McNeese, led by Will Wade, who got driven out of LSU. He's got them just fucking cooking right now. One of the only 30-win teams in the country. I think they go to the Sweet 16. I don't care if they play Kansas or Samford next round. They're going to the Sweet 16. I think Samford beats Kansas. One of Kansas's star players out for the tournament. And there's this thing they play there called buckyball, where they just pressure you every single possession. Full court press. It's awesome.
No
it's
shit.
Sick.
Yeah.
So if you're down one of your star players, you got a guy in there that's not in a regular role. I don't know. I think it'd be kind of fun. And I think Creighton comes out of that region for the Final Four. I'm a big Creighton guy.
I'm a huge Creighton guy. So in a podcast I produced this morning, I talked at length. I think Creighton, they live and die by the three, and they could literally shoot teams into oblivion, or fuck themselves out of the tournament. I think if they're hitting threes, if they're feeling it, they're not losing.
They have that one white dude, number 55, who just chops. He's sick.
Yes.
I forget his name, but he's fucking awesome.
Oh, it's just
nylon. Then they have a 7'3" white dude at the center. He's sick too. I'm like, dude, these guys, they got a little something special cooking
Nebraska.
in Omaha, Nebraska.
Nebraska is hot right now. The block is hot.
Oh yeah.
I'm with you there. I'm not ready to fully commit to Liam McNeeson's State because I really like this Gonzaga team. My Elite Eight in the Midwest is Zags, Creighton. I've completely. I'm with you. And as far as Creighton and Purdue, I have them losing to Utah State in my bracket. So
I wouldn't be shocked. I mean,
fuck
Purdue.
Yeah, fuck.
What is a Boilermaker anyway? Like
worse than a Hoosier, that's for sure. You see,
Well, Hoosiers is someone from Indiana.
that is
Not great.
true.
Not great.
Not great.
Yeah.
But
No,
it's
not a strong mascot.
no, not one that you could put on a T-shirt, but it's more of like an embodiment. It represents strength and grit, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I had to give respect to IU. Shout out Killers on Kirkwood. What a spot.
Thank you.
Cock,
Yes.
love it. And that if you guys were in the tournament, maybe I'd pick you guys to win because of the dick reference with Cock. Okay. Killers on
Mm-hmm.
Kirkwood. What a great spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we suck. I mean, we're probably gonna get the death penalty because we're so bad. But fuck it. Yeah, I don't care.
Hey, it's all right. Mizzou and 0-19 in SEC play, so you're doing a little better than me.
Oh, that makes me sick.
Only Power 5 school to go defeated. Only Power 5 school, so that was cool.
Attaboy, go Tigers!
Let's go MIZ, baby.
So, by the way, I've been wanting to ask you. I had this question ponder me in my this morning, this podcast, and what the hell do these regions have any significance? Like the East, the South, the West, the Midwest. Last time I
Isn't
checked,
North Carolina the one in the West?
yeah, there's no correlation. There's nothing. Like some of the matchups in the so-called West are like, oh, I love the West Coast city, Memphis, Tennessee. Like, what?
Yeah, it makes no sense. I don't understand why they do that. Why they just call it like the Purdue region, the North Carolina region. Like that would make some sense.
Or you could keep this forever tradition and just physically host games in the region that you're assigned because
No,
God forbid.
see, that makes too much sense, though. It makes way too much sense for the
Right.
NCAA to do that. That just that sounds too good.
Yes, and actually, I may have jumped the gun way too soon. This is still there are still connections to the terrorist organization that is the College Football Playoff Committee. So, I can't give them too much credit.
Don't get me started with that. This is the best Mizzou football year that we've had in forever, and we would have been in the playoff if we had the 12 team this year. And now they had decided to wait one more year. And we're probably going to go fucking 8-4. So, it's fine. I'm fine. No, I'm used to it. There's a thing that we have in Mizzou. It's called like that's so Mizzou is because you just get used to pain. Like when something terrible happens, you're like, well, that's just so Mizzou. Like.
God, that sounds a lot like that's so IU. It's almost like we went to the same type of school that they just raise your hopes just to fucking crush you, huh?
It's almost like you guys had this quarterback, this lefty, right? At IU, he was sick, and then he transfers to what was his name? Michael Penix, right? Mm-hmm. Transfers to Washington, brings him to the college football, to the national championship. Imagine what he could have done if he was a Hoosier his whole career.
You having fun? Was that fun for you right there?
I need to do it. It's all I can't be the only one that has shitty just memories of football. So,
yeah, that did happen. Listener, we had this really good guy, Michael Penix, and he, God, he was great. He showed glimpses and flashes.
Almost beat Ohio State, I remember.
Almost beat Ohio State. We almost beat Justin Fields. It was a 42-35 shootout. We lost by 7. We shouldn't have even been in that game, but we were. Then Penix blows up his knee, transfers, and we go back to the shithole we've always been. Yeah. Oh, and then
Freifogel, I remember, was sick. I remember that for some reason.
Yeah.
That one receiver, he was sick.
Freifogel was sick. Walt Fillier was sick. Nick Henderson, Tennessee Titan now, he was sick.
Oh.
Yeah. What and what do we have to show for it? What do we have to show for it? What's that? Oh, we haven't won a bowl game since ever since I've been alive. We haven't won not since I've been alive. We haven't won one bowl game since Henry Markin, has been alive. Not one bowl game. We've been to a couple. It's really fun to go to. We just lose.
Well, like the fucking Gator Bowl, like.
Oh yeah, Gator Bowl.
Remember the Gator Bowl.
Remember the Foster's Chicken Bowl at AT&T Park? We played there once. We got smacked by Utah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, way to make it though. Congrats on that.
I literally went there with one of our players. Listener, you won't know who this is, but Jack will know. Tim Tag took me. We went together. We went to watch them practice, and then we went to the fucking game. It was like
Why did you watch the practice in a bowl game?
We're just gonna be like scouts and just see. Oh yeah, I really like the cover 3 they're running. It's gonna be. I don't know why
That's
we
good
thought
cover 3. I like the 4-6 bear they're implementing right here.
Yeah, I really like the RPO, and I think they're not gonna have an answer to that in 4th and 1. I don't know what we thought we were doing. Yeah. He actually played college football. I just went to feel something. and I felt nothing.
Yeah, he's saying all these like coverages. You're like, yeah, for sure, dude, sick.
Yeah.
Like,
I was actually just watching the kicker. I was like, God, he's got just such good leg extension. That guy's just
what a
putting it through.
leg! What a
Oh
leg
my
on
God.
that guy.
Laces out. Yeah, fucking aim. Yeah, that was real life. But so yeah, thanks for that little fun IU tangent. Can we get back on track before I
We can
have
do
to
that. Yeah,
talk
yeah,
to
yeah.
my therapist again? Fucking A, this guy. I mean, we had some fun and it's just pain. So
Yeah.
you obviously agree that the regions don't make any goddamn sense. I guess
No,
that's just put it on the bill of NCAA's list of bullshit.
just
Cool.
NCAA.
Okay, and so we got Midwest, Creighton's your team, but you like McNeese State. That's cool. Going over to the West down here with North Carolina's bracket. What do we think? What speaks to you?
The West. Let's look. So the West region.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think New Mexico could come out of that bitch.
Like the whole thing.
They could make the Final Four. Legitimately make the Final Four.
Wow.
They have one of the most dynamic point guards in all of college basketball.
Okay.
He's fun as shit to watch. He can fill it up. And we know in March, that's the biggest X factor, right?
Yeah, right.
They're getting hot at the right time. They're arguably the hottest team in college basketball right now. They'll beat Clemson. I think Baylor can be super fraudulent. Arizona, we know, always chokes in the fucking big dance.
Of course.
And then at that point, all you got to do is just upset North Carolina. It's possible. And if North Carolina somehow gets upset by a St. Mary's, or they could get upset by Alabama, if Alabama just fills it up one day, you could very well see New Mexico in the Final Four. I'm not picking them to go there, but I wouldn't be shocked.
So off the record, but on the record, New Mexico could be Final Four.
New Mexico could very well make the Final Four.
Okay, so we have that in writing. It's documented.
Yep.
I noticed it's down. I noticed you glossed over Bama a quick sec. Are you on the trend of fading Bama and taking Charleston? What do you think?
No, not at all, dude. Bama can put up 100-something points any given night. Like I don't think Charleston can go toe to toe with them offensively.
So you know that Charleston is 20-0. They're 20-0 when they score 80 or more points. They have not lost when they score 80 or more points. And as you know, because you consume a lot of hoops, Bama can blow teams' doors off. Just lost my pen, but they play not a lick of defense.
I think I saw a similar stat that Bama also, when they score 80, has not lost.
Whoa.
Or has one loss.
So
I don't know.
So the over we're hammering.
Over, yes.
Okay.
Bama hates defense, and I love that. I love that about Bama.
Dude, it's like a drug.
It's
like
great.
Watching Bama basketball, Bama Kentucky, that game was actually crap.
That game, I was about to bring it up, was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it was like 112 to like 90 something. I was like, this is awesome. This is sick.
It outscored like most NBA games in 40 minutes of play. It was insanity. These are 18-year-old kids that were just like 50 points. It was awesome.
It's sick. It's sick. That's why I think Bama could beat anybody, but also they're going to give up 1 million points too. So it's like, if for some reason a team is just not hitting their shots, Bama's going to beat them.
Noted. So you're a Moraga, Orinda, Lafayette familiar. Obviously, there's one team. There's one team that's representing La Miranda very well.
God is a Gale.
God is a Gale. It's St. Mary's. Now, I think if St. Mary knew about who she was playing, who her school was playing, I think if she saw that one of our greatest national treasures had a university, I think she would forfeit the game out of respect. I'm talking about Grand Canyon University.
Well, if we're talking who wins in a fight between St. Mary and the Grand Canyon, it's probably the Canyon.
Right.
I would assume the Canyon's going to beat her in a fight, in a physical match.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everyone's on Grand Canyon, though. Like, everyone has Grand Canyon.
I did see that. And by the way, I have Grand Canyon going far. Like, I think these guys could actually beat North Carolina.
They have this one player that's going to get drafted in the first round.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's legit. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but I know he's sick. Like, but the fact that every single person and their mom is on Grand Canyon makes me think that St. Mary's is going to win by 15. Because no one knows about St. Mary's. They don't stay up late enough to watch the Gales. They play in the WCC, so no one gives a fuck about any of their games.
Mm-hmm.
St. Mary's turned it on the last half of the year. Like, they were awesome. They only lost one game in the conference play. And it was to Gonzaga. But they went 2-1 against Gonzaga this year. If
Yeah,
St.
no,
Mary's going two
they're
and one
hot.
against Gonzaga in a year, yeah, they're going to do. I think they could go in and beat North Carolina. I think either of those teams from that 5-12 matchup could beat North Carolina. North Carolina's sick, but
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I love RJ Davis of North Carolina, but I really think we're going to see a father son matchup in the Elite Eight. I think we're going to see Bryce Drew, coach of Grand Canyon, play
mhm.
Scott Drew, coach of Baylor, and I think Baylor is going to go. That's what I had. That's what I got.
I like Baylor. They're just like so streaky. They're so
Yeah,
streaky for me.
yeah.
I can't tell with them. I still have North Carolina making the Final Four because I think they're just so hot right now and they have so much talent. Like it's insane.
Okay, so who's your final four? This doesn't have to be the Prism Rules bracket. This can be just
Yeah, yeah,
like if someone asks you who's your final four, spare them the 10 brackets, give it to them. 4 teams.
yeah. Easy. All right, I got you. I got Illinois beating UConn in the Elite Eight to go to the
Mhm.
Final Four. Illinois is hot as fuck right now.
Okay.
I think UConn. It's hard to repeat, so I'll take Illinois. I got North Carolina over Baylor. Then I have Houston over Kentucky, and I got Creighton over McNeese in the Elite Eight. I think McNeese is gonna go far. I'm a big
That,
McNeese guy,
that's so
but I think
awesome.
I think Creighton, regardless of who they play, honestly, is gonna go to the Final Four. I think Creighton's awesome.
And then the matchups in the final four. Who's your natty?
Yeah, I got North Carolina over Illinois. I
Mm-hmm.
got Houston over Creighton. So it's North Carolina and Houston, right? Every game I've watched of Houston, they are so fucking sick. They're like insane on defense. They'll get a billion steals every single game. They
Yeah.
got that one dude, I forget his name, Sheed or Sheer, something like that. I forget his
Yeah.
name.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
That one guard they have is fucking electric. I
Yeah.
don't see any team beating Houston. I think Houston's the best team in the country. Everyone's talking about UConn. Houston's sick. They're so fun to watch. I'll take
Mm-hmm.
Houston over North Carolina. Wouldn't be shocked if Illinois beats North Carolina, but I think regardless, Houston beats them.
I'm with you with Houston. I think they're the best team in March Madness,
You got
and
Houston?
I got Houston. I have Houston winning the
There
whole
we
thing.
go. Hey, let's go. Hey,
Yes.
let's go, Cats.
I got Houston winning the whole thing, and I don't feel bad about it either. I don't have any jokes written out for that. I seriously am just straight up. I think they are the best team. I think they could actually beat the
Yeah.
Wizards. I think they could beat the Washington Wizards. I think it would be. I really
Wizard.
think they. I think
Yeah.
they could.
Name 3 players on the Wizards.
I'll give you Poole. I got Kuzma, and we got Corey Kispert. Isn't he's kind of
Oh yeah, Gonzaga guy.
he's kind of
Yeah.
balling. There's one more guy who kind of gives a shit. Everyone else in the Wizards, they don't care, and I think everyone on Houston would care. This would be their Super Bowl. So
I like when people say like, "Oh, a college team could never beat a professional team." That could be interesting.
yes,
I think Washington probably still beats them by like 10, but it'd be a good game.
I think it's close. I think it's closer than people expect. It's way different than college football versus NFL. That is murder. You can't.
That's
You can't.
that's
do
the
that.
biggest joke of an argument. If you're like, "Oh, like Georgia could beat the Panthers," no, they couldn't.
No, they could not.
They'd lose
They could
by
not.
they'd lose by 60.
It would matter so much to the Panthers too. Like they're not going to
Oh,
lose to a bunch of kids. Like people would get killed, broken.
dude, like, and people forgot so quick like how sick Bryce Young was in college. That dude won a
Right.
Heisman. He was fucking awesome.
Right.
Like, and it's just grown men versus boys at that point too. Like football's different. I think NBA, obviously, like Jordan Poole was so sick in college, and so was Kuzma. So it's like those guys are probably hoop. Same with Kispert, I guess. But it's like I don't know. Like I have no idea. I feel like hoops is a little closer.
Hoops is closer. Just think about Wembenyama. Like that's it. That's
Yeah,
a kid.
you have guys that were in college a year ago being the best team player on their team. Like
Right.
that doesn't happen in the NFL.
Exactly. Yes, I'm with you, and I also think you could have the same situation play out with UConn. I think they just like Houston. They have guys that are going to play. Honestly, low key. Like I know they're young, but you could say the same thing about Kentucky, giving somebody like
Yeah, because they're all young and all probably going to play in the.
they're all going to
like,
play. They're just they're so raw, but they're all going to play in the NBA.
Yeah. I could see that. That's not a bad take.
Okay, so speaking of Kentucky, I didn't hear one peep about Kentucky. Are you just like selling the farm on them or what?
No. I like Kentucky. I think. Who do I have them losing to?
So they play
I
Oakland
like-
first round, and then they would play the winner of Tech versus NC State. And then
Yeah, I have
ultimately-
them losing to Houston in the Elite Eight.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I just think Houston's a better team. They're more experienced. they've been better the last couple of years. I just think Houston's a better team. But like, if Kentucky went on to win the whole shit, I would not be shocked either. Just because, like, I feel
Right.
like when John Calipari has one of those teams that's really young, that figure out they start off slow, but then the end of the year, you're like, holy fuck, this is a wagon. Like,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
this is scary as fuck.
Yeah.
Like I could see them going on to win it. It feels like that Julius Randle, Anthony Davis, like if Julius Randle and Anthony Davis, those two Kentucky teams that
Hmm.
start off so slow, but then the tournament comes and they're a beast. Like, I
Yeah.
could see that.
Just an absolute behemoth. Like you're literally playing against future NBA Hall of Famers, and they're like coming into
Yeah,
form second half. Yeah, I hear you.
yeah, exactly.
I did notice your Final Four was a little chalky.
A bit. Illinois and Creighton's not that chalky.
Two ones. You know, I do like
Two
to keep
ones and
note of
two
that.
threes.
Okay, yeah, fair. It looks healthy, but I just, I'm a history buff. Just if you just look 2 or 3 years of March Madness, the Final Fours look a little deformed, and yours looks a little healthy. It looks like it's got good vitals,
No,
and I
like
don't know,
last
man.
year's Final Four was a shit. It was a shit show. Like,
Yeah,
that was crazy. That's maybe where the means to regression, or the get back to the mean, right? You gotta have a more competitive Final Four maybe this time.
I think we're inching towards something like last year. Like realistically, the one team for me that I was like, oh yeah, they could easily repeat if they given the appropriate matchups is UConn. And every game they have,
Everyone,
like they're every game they have is a nightmare. I don't even have UConn going to my Final Four. I mean, they have to play FAU because fuck Northwestern, they're gonna get their ass kicked. They're gonna play
yeah,
FAU the next round, and then after that, they either play SDSU or they play your Yale Bulldogs, and then they got to play Iowa State, who should be a one
dude,
seed.
Iowa State is the hottest team in the country right now.
Yeah,
They're crazy. Like, they probably should have been a one seed over in North Carolina, if you ask me.
I
They were,
agree. I
they're
agree.
awesome.
Yeah,
Or
I'm
even
with you
Purdue.
there.
Like, one of those two should not have been it.
Listen, why Purdue is a one seed for just like folding like a lawn chair in the middle of the Big Ten tourney, and like yeah, they have 4 losses. Cool. They played the most mid schedule in the Big Ten. Like it didn't even fucking matter. Those weren't basketball games. Those were scrimmages. It wasn't real.
I just think, like, Zach Edey doesn't do anything for me, bro.
No,
Like,
he's just big.
he's just super tall. That's it.
He's just a tree. And
He's just hella tall and goes over people, grabs rebounds, and shoots free throws.
yeah.
That's it.
And by
That
the
one
way,
guard they have is good. That
he
one
can,
guard they have is a good player. But, like, Edey's going to win Player of the Year. We know that. But it's like, I don't know. Purdue just doesn't, like, they don't tickle my pickle.
no,
Like, they don't get me excited at all.
right.
Like, they're like, give me like a little half chub. You're like, yeah, this could go somewhere. This could go somewhere. But am I going to keep pursuing it? Probably not. Like,
Dude, you know who tickles my pickle, low key? And I know this fucks up your Illinois deal, but Duquesne's gives me a half chub.
something about the name, just Duquesne. I have no idea about their team at all.
Yeah.
But Duquesne, because it's a team that you never have, like, really heard about
Mm-hmm.
until you're looking at the bracket. You're like,
Fuck.
Duquesne's kind of,
Kind
they're
of
an 11
nice.
seed.
Yeah.
How are they an 11 seed? Like, okay, but is this the team that no one knows about? That's like actually fucking sick. Like,
Kind of nice. Yeah. Duquesnes, it's French, and it actually translates
Duquesne,
to not this year Mormons because they're playing BYU. And
dude, I will never bet on BYU. I
never,
can't bet on
no,
BYU.
can't.
Just, out of respect.
Out of respect
Or
for
disrespect.
Jimmer and disrespect, whatever they'll never have that Jimmer moment when it was like you have to bet on
Yeah,
them.
if Jimmer's not on BYU, I'm not betting. I'm not picking BYU in my bracket, right? Like, it
Right.
just doesn't feel right.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, and that brings up a good point. Like Duquesne is one of those teams like Morehead State where you don't even think twice. It's like, where do they like? That's a made up school in a place I don't know, and then they like knock out your champion like Thursday or Friday. All of a sudden they're in the Sweet 16. It's like, well, it was always fucking Morehead State. You know what I mean?
It's like, dude, of course it was Morehead State. Like, great name, first of all. That's Antonio Brown's pick, by the way, to win the tournament. If you didn't see that already,
Morehead State.
yep,
Hell
Morehead
yes.
State. Hashtag
Yeah.
CTESPN.
Mhm.
Love that.
So
Remember,
good.
Morehead State actually had one of the biggest upsets ever with Kenneth Fareed as a 15 seed. I remember that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Talk about Morehead. Probably got
Morehead.
a lot more head after that upset for sure.
Hey, speaking of Morehead, there is actually I don't know if this story is getting enough traction, but there's a coach on Clemson, an assistant coach on the staff. His name,
Hmm.
you may have heard of this. His name, legal name, is Dick Bender, assistant on Clemson.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's a name.
it is. I'm
That's
assuming
yeah,
he was born Richard, but
I was gonna say I think the worst part about that is that he was probably born Richard Bender, which is sounds like a cool name. But
sure.
then his parents decide we're gonna call him Dick Bender. You're just setting that guy. He must have had a horrible middle school experience.
I'm going to
Just
take,
horrible.
sure, but I'm going to take a different lane here. I'm willing to bet that he probably went by Rich or Richie, and at some point he said, fuck it. I'm
Like that's
Dick
hilarious.
Bender.
This is hilarious.
Oh, yeah, just
Yeah,
owning it, just eats it, you know?
yeah. Dick Bender he eats it. Yeah,
Yeah. And then at some point in his career, he's like, well, I have to be a coach. Like, I got to complete this fucking saga. I can't do anything. I have to be a coach.
and how do you get your name to stand out amongst the pool of candidates? Not Richard Bender.
Hell no.
It's Dick Bender.
Dick Bender. And I bet
I like.
so. You're talking about New Mexico being, the team out in that. They're Clemson's playing New Mexico first round. No one's talking about Clemson. I bet you Dick Bender and co penetrate right through New Mexico. I mean, it just sometimes.
Yeah, I heard they got real hard penetrating D on
Mm-hmm.
New Mexico. I feel like
Yeah.
Dick Bender would have very hard penetrating D that he likes to utilize to his strengths.
Mm-hmm. And they got a very suffocating press. They could put you in absolute chokehold, and
Yeah,
there's just
very much so.
nothing you could do to even get a grip, right?
And it's almost like they'll just hit you in the side of the cheek, right?
Yeah.
Like Dick Bender will really hit you in the side of the cheek hard,
Yeah.
really
Oh yeah.
maybe like a slap, if you will.
Yeah, super good around the rim. A lot of finishes that you really love. They're always taking it to the rack. Their rim protection is just money.
Yeah, I can't rim protect.
There you go. That's Dick Bender.
How
Okay.
many jokes did you write up for Dick Bender, and how many do you have on your little note sheet with him?
On my
How
note
many
sheet right
jokes?
now, I used one, and then I was like, let's see if he'll entertain it. And I have another. Yep, you did. The tennis racket was there. I had one more, and then two were improv. So good on you.
Yeah.
For
Oh, I
making
just
it
I just
work.
hope Dick Bender doesn't blow it. That's all I really hope.
Well, I talked about it in my other pod. It was like, Clemson's got one shot, I think. And I don't even know their actual coach's fucking name, but you better hope that he gets ejected so that Dick Bender becomes the emergency interim. And that's their
You're gonna
shot.
need
If
that.
yeah. Because
Yeah.
if that doesn't happen, they're toast. And they're a little,
You need you just need Dick taking the lead sometimes.
yeah.
Really lead with Dick and just really trust in Dick and just that he can get the job done. And
Yeah.
whether it's all about your heart at the end of the day, right? If you
Mhm.
think that Dick can get the job done in your heart of hearts, you gotta go with that game plan.
I mean, that Dick Bender's just going to stretch the floor. And like, there's no, there's no
Yeah.
nothing can hold Dick Bender back. He's going to go where he wants to go. That's the plan.
Yeah, and maybe that people think that might not be. It's probably not if he's gonna if Dick's gonna go penetrate as he wants to and as he wills. It's probably not gonna be what New Mexico wants, right? It might not be
Right.
consensual in that sense.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
it won't be consensual.
to me, that really throws move.
Yeah, Dick Bender. We don't want him to come home early. We want him to play as long as he wants. That will play to their strengths for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really make it a long game.
Yeah. That was all improv right there. Hell yeah. Okay.
There you
So, I don't want to take up too much of your time here. I do want to have a couple of clips just in case Thursday and Friday are but in case that's like actually like just bloodshed and everything we just said is just worthless and
Sure.
our Sweet 16 is fucking UAB and Drake. And then in the West, we got good old Dayton versus Howard Wagner winner. And it's just unbelievable. What?
Howard just cut it to 3. They just cut it to 3. I don't know. Could be Howard.
Howard Wagner could be one white dude running for office, by the way. Like
Howard Wagner.
Yeah.
In Texas. No
yeah,
doubt.
exactly. Oh, no doubt. And that his policies are good for the state of Texas. But
His policies are very similar to that of Alabama's currently. He thinks that they made a real good decision right there.
Oh yeah,
Howard Wagner's. He's like, we're gonna get this America back to where we need it to be, boys, and just really get it. Yeah.
We're going to cut that lead down to 3, and we're going to get you back working for free. Isn't that right, folks? It's going to be great.
Hey, America.
So what are what are I gotta like what are your evergreen thoughts and I like just what's a I guess what's a message that you could tell the listeners should Monday be apocalyptic for your bracket?
Well, when it's apocalyptic for sure.
Right.
Let's say one message. You put me on the spot with that one.
I know.
I'm
I
gonna
know.
say, just bet every underdog. It's more fun that way. Just bet on every underdog for the entire tournament because that's fun. And like, what you want to root for fucking Purdue and UConn? That's no fun. Like, literally live a little bit and just bet on Longwood to win the whole ship. Just do it. It doesn't matter.
So you're saying when everything's blown to hell, just like root for the chaos.
Dude, yeah. If everything's gone to shit, be with the shit. That's what you want, right?
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
be the chaos. Be the chaos.
Oh, I'm so with that. Oh, that's so money.
I did see too that it's profitable, but the last few March Madnesses to bet on every underdog. So that's also
for the whole tournament. It's not just the first round; it's the whole tournament. Bet on the dogs.
Mm-hmm. Because if 115 or 16 or 14 seed wins, you're fucking cooking.
Yeah, right. So you get the crazy money line value, and it carries you over for like 6 games.
Oh yeah, dude. UConn was a 5 seed last year. They were underdogs almost every game. Just think about it.
It's on the notes. That's kind of all I got. I guess you're not really a big UConn guy. I was going to ask you because I know in your video that you talked about 3 teams that could actually win it, and you pretty much toss UConn aside so quickly. Any evergreen thoughts you have to say about UConn? Should that, in any instance that they survive the weekend,
they probably will. Just know that no team has repeated champion since 2007, Florida Gators. If any team can do it, it's probably UConn. But do you really want to fucking root for the number 1 overall seed? That's no fun. Like that's really it. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. Famous last words. Jack, really appreciate you. Final question and total pivot from what we're just talking about. You're obviously a social representative of Betr, otherwise known as Jake Paul's social media sports betting company. He has a big fight coming up in the summer. He's fighting Iron Mike. Yeah. Any care to share your thoughts on how that fight will go? Obviously, considering one of the fighters, pays you, the other one doesn't know you exist. Who do you think will win?
Well, it's not confirmed that Mike Tyson doesn't know I exist, first of all. I also don't even know if Jake knows I exist at this point. So, but I think Jake, like, this is no bias aside, Jake is a legitimately really good boxer. I think he beats Mike Tyson, and the narrative doesn't change on him at all, to be honest. The way everyone's going to cover him after is that, oh, he beat a 57-year-old. Congrats. Even though everyone's like, oh, Mike Tyson's going to fucking kick his ass. It does, like, for me, it's whatever. You can believe whatever you want. I think Jake Paul's going to knock him out. So that's my opinion on the fight. Hoping I can go to it. That'd be fucking sick. But
that would be insane. Where would it be? In Vegas?
Dallas, Texas. AT&T Stadium.
Dude.
Yeah. If you got a Netflix login, not your own, but someone's login, it's going to be on there for free. So that'll be dope.
Yeah, I will be watching. I think I'm actually going to follow your lead. I feel like the universe is saying Tyson's going to kill him, but that's just not how betting works, right?
But also, like, you see Mike Tyson's training videos, that motherfucker still got it. Mm-hmm. Like, he's moving quick. His punches are crazy hard still. Like, I think if Mike Tyson wins, it's going to be in the first round. I think Jake can easily outlast him cardio-wise for a long fight. But, like, Mike Tyson can get one fucking jaw, and it's over because he's Iron Mike.
Right.
But Jake's also got a heavy right hand, so I don't know.
Fuck yeah. Well, good shit. I'm real happy for you and everything you've accomplished over there at Betr. Guys, you could follow him at Betr _Jack. He makes some amazing content. He's always keeping you updated on the trends as well as these crazy conspiracy theories that actually aren't so fucking crazy. He uses like colors and numbers and geographical locations
It's
and musical notes
it's
to
weird.
tie in narratives, but
Yeah.
that's his shtick, and it's blown up, and he's made a great living for himself. So
I've made a living. I
yeah.
wouldn't say great. You know, working sports still, so you get the vibe.
Oh,
But
I guess most of that money just ends up going back to Vegas, right? So it's whatever.
essentially, yeah.
Oh man, Jack, good to see you as always. Hope things go just swimmingly with any venture you're working on. It's always a pleasure talking to you,
Hey,
man.
right back at you, brother. Let's go Giants. How about that? Baseball, baby. Baseball season soon.
I'll have to bring you on. I feel bad. I don't want to shoehorn Giants content in right now. I'll bring you as a recurring. You're great. I want you to come
Bring
back on the program.
bring me on. The Giants are first place in the NL West in 2 months. How about that?
How about that? That's a good deal. That's a good deal.
How about it?
All right, folks. We'll let Collinsworth close us out. Chris, you want to? Nope. Just go back to the box. Fuck that. Ciao.